he says here, eating, drinking, sex, and overindulgence as these, as well as ill temper and every other vice derived from one's matter. Um,
Yes,
and so
because what's the source of bad in the world? It's not God. The source of evil in the world,
uh
right, is matter.
matter is just like stuff that exists.
Getting back to the ancient Greeks, right, the world kind of splits down between matter and form. And you can think, for instance, where Plato talks about the idea of pure forms, right? What's a platonic friendship, right? It's a friendship that isn't stained with the physical aspects
Mm,
of, of
hmm
touch, right? So that that platonic friendship is an ideal friendship, not just because that girl, that boy, doesn't really like you. And it's no, let's not stain our relationship with the physical touch, as it were. And
mm.
so too, right? God has an idea of what the universe is supposed to look like. Those are those pure forms, if you will, and then it gets instantiated in matter, and matter is imperfect.
So it's almost like the physicality.
The very physicality of the world, right?
Okay.
That is the source of evil, right?
Mm,
God isn't the source of evil. It's that it gets, those ideas get implanted in matter, and that matter is imperfect, and that's what's going to decay,
mm. And so
right?
drinking is a part of that decay, owing to the
The
physicality.
physical, right? So look at
Yeah.
the next, right? Look at the next very paragraph, right? Hold on,
Yeah.
right?
And then he says, this
Divine
is clearly
wisdom has
so.
decreed that matter cannot exist without form,
Yeah.
right? So, nor such forms as these without matter, right? We need to mix them too. We've got the noble form, right? How is it that we are like God? It's not in a form, right? It's not in the matter for sure, but it's in the intellect, right? But then, like once it takes on that physical form instantiated in matter, then it's going to decay. Man's noble form, then the image and likeness of God, and this is from the very beginning of the guide, right? Is bound to matter, this dark, turbid, earthly matter that invites every defect and decay. So that way in which we're connected to God, that doesn't decay, right? That's the form. That's the, tselem udmut, right?
hmm
How is the image and likeness of God, right? It's not that, God has a, face shape like this or skin like this, right? It's the tselem and demut, the image and likeness, which is, as it says here, right? And
hmm
it's actually the exact words he uses of image and likeness,
Yeah.
right? The noble
Interesting.
form. But that
Yeah.
gets planted in matter. And, right, everything that we do, eating and drinking and sex, right?
hmm
All of that stuff is, meeting those physical needs.
Yeah.
And so that's naturally going to be connected with decay.
He says, some find all bodily urges foul and unseemly, necessary evils, which seems
Yeah.
just as Aristotle says, for that makes us crave food, drink, and sex. He says, functions rightly kept private, minimized, and regretted, not made. Although it's interesting, I don't know if, obviously, sex, I understand, but the food and the drink being minimized and not made topics of talk is interesting. Um,
Right. I listen.
yeah.
I mean, he's just saying, like, you shouldn't spend all your time talking about recipes and menus.
because it's just because it's just physical and ephemeral.
I think,
Yeah.
listen, I think he, understands that you can appreciate all of those, physical experiences,
hmm
right? But at the same
Yeah.
time, they're not what we're supposed to really be talking about,
Yeah.
right? And
Well,
that,
this is
yeah,
this is delicious. He says the great throng of the unwashed, curtained from God, do just the opposite. They neglect all thought and reflection on ideas and make their sinecure the very sense of touch that is our great shame. They have no
right?
ideas, no thought beyond sex and consumption. Such wretches are pictured clearly engrossed in food, drink, and sex. And then he brings various biblical
Yeah,
verses to
right,
substantiate.
verses, right.